dwnews.com, a Hong Kong-based news website which is controlled by the CCP's United Front Working Group and an Intelligence Exchange Center, has suddenly shut down its operations yesterday on the 26th of April, 2 days before its scheduled court appearance for fabricating false evidence in the lawsuit between Miles Guo and PAX, Pacific Alliance Asian Opportunity Fund, a company that has been pumping investors' money from the West to the CCP's pocket for decades. How significant is the shutting down of DW News, Steve?
I think it's hugely significant, and it's what I tell people, that Miles is look, I'm sanctioned by the Chinese Communist Party. I'm the first American civilian in history to be sanctioned by the Chinese Communist Party, full sanctions that they gave Pompeo, Pottinger, Navarro, and others, right? But those are all government officials. And, and I'm at this level. If you think about what Miles has dedicated himself to in his life to, and that's what I tell people, there's not a bigger a voice or fighter in the entire world against the Chinese Communist Party than Miles Guo. And I tell people all the time, they come, because a lot of Westerners, they can't quite figure out Miles. And I say, think about with Miles's, not just his wealth, but his talent. I mean, look what he's done in music. That the song he made that we use as our song on War Room is so popular. I mean, people tell me all the time they love that song. Some people even come to the show just to listen to the song. His ability in fashion or in music or in culture or in finance or in business, hospitality. You saw Pangu, there's so many things he could do if you just want to spend his time on that and be enormously successful like he was in China and make more billions of dollars and live a lifestyle of complete luxury and just partying and, going out and having a good time. He doesn't do any of that. He is 1,000% focused and dedicated on taking down the Chinese Communist Party and to assist his people in being free. I mean, I call him the George Washington of China, of fighting this long odds fight like the American Revolution was to take down the CCP and to free Lao Beijing, to free the Chinese people. He's dedicated his life to that. And people don't realize how he's attacked relentlessly in all these different suits and people coming after him all the time. It's all inspired by the Chinese Communist Party. There's still nobody on record. This is what I tell people. All the people say, well, Miles Guo, we don't understand. I said, look, just go back and look at what he said and look at the track record he's had in foretelling exactly what was going to happen to us. I continue to tell people, say it on the show all the time, but I also tell people when I'm in meetings, something like that, if we had just listened and set aside whether you like him or don't like him or trust him or don't trust him, forget all that. I said, if you had just taken his words at the time that he said it and we had acted upon that, we America, forget the new federal state, forget the overseas Chinese, forget all Chinese nationals, just America. If America had just acted on what his prophetic advice had been, we would be in a very different place today and a much better place. But we haven't. And so people don't understand about how they're coming after Miles with everything. I mean, I see it in my own thing. And like I said, I'm 1/100th of what they're coming after Miles with. And they come after me pretty hard. They're after him relentlessly. And people only understand the surface of it. And it's 24 hours a day. And then you see the situation like what just happened, where all of a sudden when it comes down, they have to go to a court or they have to adjudicate it or something, an event has to happen where their legitimacy has to be there and it's going to be questioned. All of a sudden, witnesses don't show up, the company dissolves, they're not doing anymore. That's a ongoing battle he's fighting all the time. And it's not going to, he's in a different situation now with this hedge fund in China and all that's brought on. And I think all of us, right, have leaned on Miles too much. We put too much on Miles' shoulders. I think it's now time. I think Miles needs prayers every day. He's fighting. He's going to win. Don't get me wrong. It's not, it's still Miles. He's still fighting bang, bang, bang every day. He's relentless. He's the personification of the fighting spirit. But anything that we can do, I think, as a movement, as a cause, as united, to take the burden off him, that's what we ought to be doing now. Because he's got these intense fights that are going on right now in these different courts with with the Pacific Group and all the affiliate allies and all the demons that they're working with. And I know that's very time consuming. And he's the greatest fighter. And I keep asking him, what else can we do? What else can we do? How we assist us? Because we're winning and we're making huge progress in our overall crusade against the Chinese Communist Party. And now's not the time to relax that. It's actually time to double and triple down on that. One is just the political movement in the country, in America, is coming rapidly our way. And by the elections this fall, we'll have tremendous wind at our back on our confrontation with the Chinese Communist Party. And but that's why I think it's now, if anybody needs prayers, and he'd be the first to say, don't do that. I don't want to hear that, because he's as you know, just not only a very private individual, he would never put any of his burdens on anybody else. And I think he'd be even embarrassed of me talking about it. And this is the first time I've really talked about it. But I think now more than ever, we need to pray for Brother Miles, because he's in a fight and he gets 1,000 times worse than anybody else. And so this is a huge development. But I also think in this process, you're going to see other developments like this. You're going to see other groups that are outed, or is this whole issue with bankruptcy and what he's fighting in the courts and these different lawsuits. I think you're going to see many more situations like you just saw, where when they have to come to an actual point or node where the credibility is going to have to be essentially officially validated, and it'll become quite clear that they're just agents of this criminal element of the Chinese Communist Party. I think you'll see more situations like this.